We have a new intercontinental champion in the WWE, and his name is Penta. And some other stuff happened. So here is the Monday Night Raw, March the 2nd, the year of our Triple H TKO 2026 review of the 716 Sports Entertainment Podcast. I am Mike, joined by Mr. Sean O'Neill. And Sean, some stuff happened on this episode, and they tried. But the big news, obviously, being that we have a new Intercontinental Champion, which is huge and something we've been going on about on this channel for a while. So, how did you feel about the show?
Overall, first of all, let me say it's about damn time that that title changed hands. But overall, I really enjoyed this show. I think that they did enough interesting things across it to make it entertaining. And for me, that's all I really care about at the end of the day is was I entertained? And I was. I mean, there was some dumb stuff. There was some stupider stuff, but it was all at least entertaining, and I got a laugh out of some of it. So I was happy with this episode. It was definitely a million times better than last week's.
Yeah, that I can certainly agree with. And yeah, the so we had the last match of the show before the main event sequence with CM Punk and Roman Reigns was the Penta versus Dominic Mysterio match. And prior to the match, newly signed WWE talent Danhausen was backstage with Adam Pearce. And that was actually, I think that was probably the best way they could have started with
Yep.
him, right? Having him, interact with Adam Pearce and give his list of demands to Adam Pearce, which I thought
Yep.
were actually all kind of funny. How he wanted the Triple H pointing to him picture, which I thought was really
Yep.
good, and to be inducted into the Hall of Fame immediately. That was pretty hilarious. To which Adam Pearce was like, "Yeah, I have a drinking problem, so I need to leave." And he passed him over to the Judgment Day, which they kind of made fun of him, and he cursed the Judgment Day, which I thought was interesting, given that Dom lost. And
Yep.
I'm wondering, and I'm hoping that they turn this into a narrative for this character because I think it would be absolutely hilarious. But with that said, it obviously led to the match between Penta and Dom, and the Judgment Day did not interfere in the match. They were sitting ringside, but Finn told JD twice not to interfere in the match, and they did not. Penta did take them out when it looked like they might, but Penta won clean, and he carried most of the offense on this match, and finished with a beautiful Mexican destroyer. And it was a hell of a match. Dom actually looked really good in this match, but putting this title on Penta is the right thing to do. And now I'm hoping we've got a good fighting champion who will carry this belt, who's a great wrestler, and who will, hopefully get this belt on the WrestleMania card now.
Yeah, I have to 100% imagine that this belt will be on the card one way or another now. But leading into this match, I thought, like you said, the way they introduced Danhausen was fantastic. I really, honestly, they shouldn't have even done the box. They should have just done this because I think people wouldn't have been as disappointed and people would have actually gotten a little bit more of a kick out of it via this. And the I'm very curious to see if they're going to blame Danhausen for cursing Dominic, and because that's his thing is that he curses people, and I'm kind of surprised he didn't show up during the match just to be sort of like watching, like not get involved, but just cursing them again. And I'm very curious. I have to imagine Dom is going to blame Finn, correct, for not allowing JD to interfere.
I would assume so. I mean, given the handshake that happened at the end of Elimination Chamber, I think the Finn Balor face turn is inevitable. And it's very likely that we will do some kind of match between Finn and Dom at WrestleMania.
Where does JD go?
I don't know. Maybe him and
He's, I mean,
maybe
he's
maybe him and Finn become a tag team and they go after the tag belts, or I mean, they already were a tag team, but I don't know. I suppose they could do that, or they all just go in their own separate ways and just singles action.
because he is like one of Finn's best friends. I believe Finn actually trained him.
Yeah.
So I have to imagine that he probably sides with Finn. But I'm very, very interested to see how they play this out now. Because Dom, being the sleazy heel that he is, obviously won't take this very, very well. And the match itself was incredible. I mean, as much as people love to hate on Dom for being a sleazebag, the kid can wrestle. And especially when paired up with someone like Penta, it is it honestly, if you didn't have the Punk and Roman stuff at the end of the night, this should have been the actual main event.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. It was a great match, and like I said, I'm so glad to see that we have a new Intercontinental Champion. Penta's awesome, and this was just
He
great.
deserves it.
Absolutely great. We did obviously, let's talk about that main event though. We did have Roman Reigns come to the ring, asking the crowd, his usual stick shtick to acknowledge him, to which he was quickly interrupted by CM Punk. And this got a little heated. Like there was definitely it felt like some fourth wall breaking here a little bit because Roman kind of kept going down the same sort of tirade that he went down before about how, nobody wants you here and we only brought you here to help boost ticket sales and maybe sell out an arena in Chicago and I'm gonna bury you down to NXT so you can send people up that I can just, destroy. And then Punk basically was like, "Yeah, whatever. I'm going to bury you right next to your dead father." And
Wow,
it
that
was
alone.
it was something else. It was really something else. So it was a great promo and you could just see the heat between these two guys and I loved every bit of it.
The fact that in one line, Phil Brooks pissed off the entire NOI family is incredible.
Mm,
You have Samoans from other promotions threatening to come kick CM Punk's ass.
yep.
I don't know if you saw that, but Zilla Fatu posted that he was going to come and slap the shit out of Punk. And honestly, that felt like a real heel line to me. Like that's not something a face generally says. You know what I mean? You don't
Hmm.
you don't take digs at someone's dead relative when you're a face. But it's tough because Roman was also acting kind of heely there. I mean, the fact that he refers to him as Phil all the time, I think is fantastic instead of calling him Punk. Um, and it just the line about sending him to NXT so that he could send people there for Roman to destroy, I think was a great line too. Overall, this is what I wish Roman were going to be on more episodes of Raw than he's going to be because this was absolute fire. And we would get this every week if the two of them were both there.
So have you changed your mind on how you think this is going to go at WrestleMania?
Nope. I still think Punk is going to win.
Why?
I just think that they gave Punk his WrestleMania main event last year, but he lost. So I think they're going to give him his main event that he wins this year.
You don't think it hurts Roman to lose?
No, Roman Reigns can take losses. He is bigger than his win loss record.
Okay. I just
I
wonder
mean,
if
I'm willing to take that loss on the score sheet because I'm truly convinced that that's how it's going to go.
I don't know. I feel like I'm wondering if the I'm wondering if it's going. I feel like either one of these guys could win at Mania, and I'm not sure who I'm going to pick yet. I'm leaning towards Roman, but I feel like this is leading to a SummerSlam main event of the winner of this match versus Braun Breaker.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. I think that makes the most sense, especially because by then anything between Seth and the Vision should be over. I
Hmm.
mean, that's another 6 months, 4 months past here. So I think that that is a very good idea of where we're going to go down the road.
Speaking of the Vision, the show started with the Vision in the ring complaining about Seth Rollins. Multiple masked men then ran out to draw out Logan Paul and Austin Theory to chase after them so that Paul Heyman would be alone in the ring, vulnerable to an attack from multiple masked men, to which Rollins finally came up behind him, took the mask off, revealed it to be himself with a chair, and then proceeded to hit Paul Heyman in the back with said chair and then gave him the stomp. And he was then taken off by an ambulance, which was driven by LA Knight, which was very Attitude Era-esque, which I very much liked. And then we saw Jimmy Uso coming in, beating down Austin Theory a little bit, which ultimately led to a match, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But how'd you like this opening segment? I thought it was excellent, and it was a great way to get Rollins back in. He didn't even have to say anything, and I just thought it was perfect. And this will probably allow them to, give Paul Heyman some time off, I would imagine.
So watching the Vision and Adam Pearce, first of all, go back and forth is absolutely hysterical to me too. And but I love when Paul Heyman gets physical because he always goes all in with it.
Yep.
And the whole busted open head and everything was fantastic. The whole multiple masked men angle to lure everyone away was very, very Seth Rollins and the conniver that he is. And I'm very, very curious where LA Knight is going to take Paul Heyman.
They should
Like
have
I
had
kind of
that be a
I
night
want
long
this to
narrative.
be yeah, I want it to be a like week long narrative. Like he every week LA Knight is showing up with a tied up Paul Heyman in like a different city and putting like pictures up. I think would be absolutely great.
That would be pretty funny. Yeah, I very much enjoyed this. And obviously, it led to a match in the middle of the show between Jimmy Uso and Austin Theory, where Jimmy Uso won by disqualification after Logan Paul came into the ring to help Austin Theory beat him up, to which Jey Uso made his return with a pair of crutches that he passed to his brother, and they chased the heels off. So this was kind of a nothing match. Obviously, it was Jimmy was just kind of, pissed about what happened to his brother last week, which was the reason for the match. But I think coming out of this match, this is your WrestleMania match for the tag
Yep.
titles.
I think I
100%.
said it on Friday. Well, I think I said Friday that the Vision attacking Jimmy or Jey Uso is the perfect lead in to
Mm.
them going for the tag titles. And honestly, I think they should win them.
I agree. I agree 100%. They become so much more relevant if they have titles. And I hope
I
that
mean,
like
it's
having them be on a big faction and not a cartoon character like Jey Uso, I think makes those titles more relevant, which they are in desperate need of a refresh.
as long as they are defended more frequently. Because like I thought that that was the same thing that was going to happen with putting them on the Judgment Day, but they didn't get defended enough as part of the faction.
Yeah, I agree. Which I think they might be, right? Because those guys wrestle a lot. You know,
Yeah,
somebody in the Vision wrestles almost every week. So,
yeah,
I think I'm okay with that.
yeah. I think that's a good. I like the fact that they're using things from a week or two previously to actually finally start building more things towards WrestleMania, so they can prove Terrence wrong.
And then we had what was the match of the night? I mean, by a mile was Gunther versus Dragon Lee. And finally, kind of the payoff to, their blood feud over the last few weeks here, where Dragon Lee, has been continually sneak attacking Gunther because, him being upset about what Gunther did to AJ Styles, as, WWE is actually remembering that their audience knows things about continuity and that those two were a tag team. But this match was awesome. Dragon Lee got a ton of near falls, and he really held his own and looked excellent against Gunther. But Gunther ultimately, the power was just too much, and he got him into a submission where he kind of ripped his mask off at the end there.
Yep.
And yeah, Gunther, obviously as dominant as ever. Gunther wasn't going to lose this match, but Dragon Lee looked fantastic. This match got multiple "this is awesome" chants. Dragon Lee can just fly around the ring with the best of them, and I was very, very impressed. Like if anything else on this show that like if you want to just watch wrestling, this was the best wrestling on this show.
They did a very good job of not burying Dragon Lee, especially considering the massive size difference between these two. And like I didn't even realize that Dragon Lee's finish or one move was called Operation Dragon, which I think is kind of cool. But I think that my thing that shocks me the most out of all this is what happened to the Dragon Lee that apparently pissed off someone backstage. Like he
Yeah.
has completely turned it around versus this time last year. This time last year, he was going up. going in matches against who was it, the Judgment Day every week and getting curb stomped in
Yeah.
like 30 seconds. So I don't know if it's they realized that he can actually put in the work, or maybe they're finally taking that next Rey Mysterio endorsement seriously. But the guy can go, and it's nice to see WWE putting him in major storylines and major matches like this.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. We did have a couple, no other matches on this show, but a couple. Oh no, we had one other match on this show. I apologize. We also had but actually, I kind of want to put that into the bad, so we'll skip that for a moment. The only other good thing, in my opinion, that happened on this show was the segment with Obafemi and Rusev. I kind of feel like
Yep.
now we actually have a proper feud for both of these guys. And I'm kind of hoping they both get one. Like, I don't think that Oba is going to like get pinned, but I kind of think Rusev should maybe like lose or win via like a disqualification or something like that. Because I don't want Rusev to just get buried. I mean, even though I think that's probably what's going to happen, I would like for Rusev to maybe kind of pick up a win here somehow. But I'm very, very looking forward to this because these two guys are just two big meaty men who are going to slap meat, and I think it's going to be great.
I was just about to say that in the words of one VKM and the Big Meaty Men. But you're right. I do think that Rusev is going to get a DQ win here because I don't think it makes sense to have him lose all parts of this feud. And I think it'll let you continue it longer too, which is what you need because these are two big guys who can both go. And
Mhm.
it's going to be a slobber knocker, in the words of good old JR. And I sign me up for it. We don't have enough of those anymore. I think the last real good one was, God, what, Cesaro and Sheamus a couple years ago?
Yeah. Which unfortunately takes us to the bad for this show, which was pretty much everything else. And as I mentioned earlier, we had another match between original El Grande Americano, who's now just kind of downgraded to fighting the Goon Squad Americanos again. And the match itself was fine. I mean, I know Terrence disagrees with me, but I really don't like all of these Americanos jumping off the top rope and headbutting people, like slamming their heads down. I don't like that. I think that that should be taken out of wrestling. Call me old fashioned or whatever you want to call me, or call me new school, but the CTE stuff is real and you should not be just don't no headshots anymore at all. You could this that is something that can come out of wrestling as far as I'm concerned. I mean, Master Gable is still excellent and it's really like it's that move he did to finally close out the match where he got him and then did that incredible suplex that he does. Absolutely amazing. But like I think either we need to start having some talking segments or something, but like let's just announce the match, maybe give these guys a couple of weeks off and then do this, right? Because it's like if we keep doing this every single week, I'm going to be so burned out by WrestleMania, when these guys finally have their blow off match. And like I know they're building towards some kind of a mask versus mask match because it seems like every time these guys are in the ring, they're trying to pull off the other's mask. But I think I need these guys off of TV for a couple of weeks because like it's really starting to grate on me a little bit.
So for this one, they did the earlier in the day pre-taped segment for it. I think that next week you're going to see a live segment between them. I don't think you'll see a match. But this is obviously your normal WWE path of, oh, he has to work his way through the goon squad before he can get to the guy in charge. And so I don't know if you, like I said, I don't think you'll see it next week, but within the next couple weeks, you'll see him face the other minor Americano so
Mhm.
that they can finally set up him versus Grande 2. Might see a tag match in there, someone teaming with him again,
John
and you'll get a
Evans,
tag match.
probably.
Maybe. It was weird he wasn't anywhere on the show. I'm hoping that he is all right after Elimination Chamber.
Maybe they just gave him a break.
I mean, with the style he wrestles, it makes sense. But I think that it's just the typical WWE booking of that type of feud.
Yeah.
And I can get behind a mask versus mask match.
Yeah. And then we had Rhea Ripley with Io Sky by her side was interviewed by Jackie Redmond, talking about winning Elimination Chamber and obviously dropping the women's tag team titles, and made some commentary about how she's, going to go to SmackDown and be ready for Jade. But one of the things I want to talk about here, because this was like a nothing promo, like Rhea didn't really say anything, but you had brought this to my attention, and I had saw some stuff online earlier. There is like a blood feud going on the Twitters between these two women. And did you want to talk about that?
So I'm not 100% sure if it's a work or not. I feel like that anytime you're in WrestleMania season, I feel like these kind of things always have a 60% chance of being a work, just
Hmm.
because they need, especially with this year where we're at as far as storytelling in these matches, you need to get Rhea and Jade into telling some sort of story for their match. So part of me is thinking that that's what this is, but they're definitely selling it as far as the hatred towards each other. Jade going after Rhea and then Rhea responding back. I'm very interested to see how the two of them interact in person on Friday.
Yeah, for sure. I do agree with you on that. I just I don't know. It seemed awfully personal, and I was kind of like, well, I mean, maybe they're trying to drum this up, but then also Jade kind of took some personal shots at her
Yeah.
about how she's favored by creative and things like that. And I was like, I don't know about that. And then other people started getting involved, like Chelsea and Piper got involved, and they were all burying Jade as well. Like Piper said something
Oh,
about how, yeah, Piper said something about how Chelsea initially went on and said, you're kind of like Chelsea's a heel, which is weird. But Chelsea went on and was basically like, this is incredibly disrespectful, what you're saying, like, blah, blah, blah. Then she said something nasty about Chelsea. And then Piper chimed in and was like, yeah, this coming from a woman who everybody knows should have been in NXT and can't wrestle. So,
really?
yeah, so that's why I was kind of like, oh, wow, this
I
got
hadn't seen that.
yeah, this got really kind of personal, right? There's some other YouTube channels out there that like reported on all this stuff, and it was pretty intense, which, leads me to believe, maybe it's like a work shoot, maybe. But there had been reports for a while that Jade has an attitude problem, and you know, being a bad wrestler and having an attitude problem, she doesn't really have a lot going for her right now. She needs to probably, if this is true, she needs to improve her backstage behavior, like big time. Because, like, I don't know about you, but I wouldn't give a crap if they fired her.
No, I mean, putting the belt on someone like that doesn't do them any favors either.
Nope.
Because you want to talk about massaging somebody's ego who doesn't deserve it. I
Hmm.
mean, oh, now because now she can be like, well, I'm the champ, I can do what I want, and it's like, no, you really can't. You need to still respect the people who came before you. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I get it. There are some points where, yeah, it does look like Rhea was getting the Hogan treatment, but I don't know. You don't call somebody out like that in the media. You know what I mean? Like this is
I don't
supposed to be
Rhea was never like even what Becky Lynch was though either. Like
no.
we did say Becky Hogan for a while. I don't think you can say Rhea Hogan like at all. I really
I'm
don't think you
saying
can.
that I'm saying I don't agree with her doing that
Ah,
basically.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
it may look like it to some people, but kayfabe is a thing. Like that's not the kind of shit you should be talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And then although it generated a promising segment for next week, the worst segment on this show was AJ Lee's in-ring appearance. This
Really?
was awful. She seemed like she took 10 steps back in this promo. She went on about how she just sounded incredibly unnatural, almost like she forgot her lines, and it sounded incredibly scripted even when she did speak. But ultimately, she said that she's going to be a fighting champion and put a challenge out to the locker room, which leads me to believe that maybe she's just done with Becky and Becky's going to take a break. Which I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just something in the interim. But it ultimately did lead to something good. So it's not completely bad, but we are going to get a gauntlet match between Lyra, Bailey, Asuka, Io Sky, Ivy Nile, and I think
Raquel.
who?
Raquel.
Raquel. That's right. So that's kind of cool. And like I honestly would take any one of those women, you know, to challenge AJ Lee for the title. I think that would be pretty cool, and you had a segment with Bailey and Lyra where they were talking about how they both kind of got screwed out of the WrestleMania match last year. So yeah, I'd be completely okay if one of them got a title shot at that IC title. I don't think they would beat AJ, but she just I don't know, she just seemed like she's been doing such a good job with her promo work, and it's just like she seems so lost in this promo.
So I'm not gonna lie, I was actually only half paying attention during this promo. I was working on something at the same time. But as far as the match for next week goes, I don't know how Ivy Nile keeps managing to get into these things. Like you have all these really big name stars, and then it's like, oh, and Ivy Nile. Like, where's Maxine? Where's Natty? Like,
Maxine's
why
still
aren't they?
hurt. I don't know about
Oh,
Natty.
why isn't Natty involved in this instead of Ivy Nile? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they were just pushing that. I think that whoever wins this match is going to get a match on Raw with AJ Lee. And I think Becky is going to cause a DQ in that match because they did make mention about some of the BS that Becky's been causing back, like off screen, with about how she was cheated out of everything. So she's not done with Becky at all. I still think we get our Mania match out of it.
Mhm. That's fair.
I think Becky might be off TV a couple weeks of it, and then, like I said, once the match happens on Raw here, I think she shows up and interferes.
Yeah. So that was Monday Night Raw. What was your final rating for the show?
I enjoyed this one more than normal, so I give it a 3.5. I think it was the matches for the most part were fun. I think the potential now for everybody backstage to be cursed is great,
Mhm.
and I would like to see more shows like this over the next few weeks as we approach WrestleMania than shows like last week before Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I'm so glad we have a new Intercontinental Champion. I thought the match with Gunther and Dragon Lee was fire, and the main event with Roman Reigns and CM Punk just inject that into my veins. Like I was looking, it reminded me of like the promos we were getting between Cody and Roman Reigns a couple of years ago, and how awesome
Yep.
those were. And this was great. So I think with that, my final rating for the show is a 30 to 40-year-old virgins that live with their mom and dad out of 5.
That's quite the shot.
So that is our show, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. As always, I am Mike, joined by Mr. Sean O'Neill. Let us know what you think in the comments down below. Did you enjoy Monday Night Raw? And we want to hear about it. So have yourselves a fantastic evening. Thank you for all the support and take care.